Do you need to measure the conversion rate between deal stages in Zoho CRM? Hi, my name is Zach Spader with Cornerstone Solutions, and today I'm going to show you how to create a pipeline conversion chart in the CRM Analytics tool. Let's take a look. Okay, so the first thing we want to do when we get logged into our CRM is to click on the Analytics tab up here at the top. Now, depending on when you started your CRM account, this tab may also be called the Dashboard module. It just depends on exactly when the account was started. But I'm going to go ahead and click on Analytics. There's going to be a bunch of built-in analytics. If you haven't used this tab or module before to create different charts and graphs, there's going to be some built-in ones that get created when you sign up for an account. There's different dashboards over here on the left-hand side, so you can create dashboards for specific purposes. So there's some built-in ones for lead analytics and deal insights, marketing metrics, things like that. You can build your own dashboards, or you can use the dashboards that they have already prepared for you, and you can add to them. So the first thing that I want to do, I'm going to click on the deal insights, since this specific one that we're going to build today is going to be a deal drop-off or deal pipeline drop-off report. And so I'm going to start by clicking the add component. And we're going to do what's called a funnel chart or funnel component here. Now, there's several different types of components here. You've got the standard component, and the standard component allows you to separate or segment deals out by a state or a lead source. And so you can see that you can see like the overall conversion of all of your deals. And then you can see broken down underneath by a different segment. So it could be a state or a lead source, any factor on that deal that you want to segment by, you can segment it and see the conversion rate for that specific type of deal. Then there's a compact version, and this is just going to show you the details. So the stages and then the drop off between the stages and your total conversion rate. Here's another segment based version. The only difference between this one and the one at the top is that this one does not have the totals in a chart version. It has the totals down at the bottom here in numerical version, but it just doesn't have the chart, the visual chart up here at the top. And then there's a more visual version, and this again is not based on segments. So this is not going to segment them out into like lead sources or states. This is just going to show you the total conversion rate in kind of a top to bottom vertical chart to show you the drop-off rate, the numbers and the drop-off rate between each one of the stages that you want to track. And then this is kind of the same thing, but it's in a more horizontal version. So it's just going to show you between different stages, again, what the total numbers are, and then the drop-off at each stage. So for our purposes today, I'm just going to choose the what's called the path version down here at the bottom. And we're going to start with that. And so I'm going to give my component a name. So we'll just call it pipeline conversion chart. And then once I've given it a name, I want to start building out the stages that I want to track. Okay, so now we're going to build out our stages. I'm going to go ahead and click on stage 1. I'm going to skip over the name. I'm going to go down to modules. We're going to select our deal module because that's what we want to track. And then I'm going to come down here. You can select a related module that you want to pull information in. In our case, everything that we need is in the deals module, so I'm not going to select a related module. I'm going to go to the filter here. And because we're tracking the drop-off between deal stages, we want to choose the stage field. And we'll choose is. Now, here's a little bit of a tricky part. We want to track everything that's gone through the qualification stage, but all those deals that have gone through qualification, they could still be in qualification, or they could be in a further stage down the pipeline now. They may even be closed won or closed lost. So for this first stage, we need to do a very broad filter criteria that captures everything in the stage that we want and everything after that as well. So we're going to choose every single stage within this process because it might have started in qualification, but it may have ended up in one of these other stages still in the process or closed won or closed lost by now. Okay, so we've selected all of those. I'm going to go back up here. Now that we know what our first stage is, I'm going to give this a name, and we'll call this qualification. And then the last item here that we have to complete on the first stage is the duration. Now, you can put a duration on your funnel. So like if you want to measure the drop off this year or last year, or maybe you want to make two different charts and you want to compare the two, time periods, this year and last year, you can do that. And you do that in the duration section here. And so what I would recommend is that you choose the created time, and then you can select the duration. So you can select today, this week, this month, quarter, things like that. For our report, I don't want to put a time limit on this. I want to see the deal conversion over all time. And there's not really an easy way to do that here. You have to kind of get creative with this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to last, and I'm going to select months, and we're going to go 9,999 months. And so this should cover every deal that I have in my business. If you've made it past 9,999 months in your business, congratulations, you deserve a medal. But this 9,999 months should cover all the different deals that were created while my business has been in business. Okay, and then I'm going to click done here. And that's the first stage built out. And then we just need to build out the rest of the stages here. So we're going to click stage number 2. First, start with the filter. And again, I'm limited in the number of stages that I can add to this pipeline. I believe it's 5 different stages you can add to this pipeline. And so I'm not going to be able to hit every single stage in my deal stages. So I need to pick and choose which are the most important ones that I want to measure the drop off between. So we're going to skip forward to value proposition next. We're going to skip over needs analysis. And so again, like we built the first one, we not only select value proposition, but we select everything after value proposition as well. So we'll select all these other ones, except for the ones that came before value proposition, which are the qualification and needs analysis. So in this case, the first stage was value proposition. So that's what we want to call this. And you see in this one, we don't have to enter a duration. We only have to enter a duration in the first stage of the funnel. We'll add number 3. Again, we're going to skip forward. We're not going to choose identify decision makers. We're going to go skip forward straight to the quote. And so quote, and then everything after the quote. We'll just call this quote. And then for my last stage here, I just want to measure the ones that went forward to closed won. We don't need to measure closed lost, because none of the deals that went into closed won are going to be in closed lost or anything like that. So they're just going to be sitting in closed won. So I'm going to go ahead and choose closed won for my last deal stage. Click done. Okay, before I hit save here, I just want to point out one other thing. You can put component filters on these reports or these charts. And so if you click the display component filters, you can select one of the fields here that you want to filter by. So maybe you want to look at particular deal owners and see the salespeople in your company and what their specific conversion rates are. So you can choose deal owner as a component filter. And then when we create this report, it will have a little filter up at the top that will allow you to select the deal owner so that you can see their specific conversion rate. I'm just going to create a general report here. I don't want to see based on salesperson. So I'm just going to unselect that filter there. And then we'll hit save. And then our filter gets added down here at the bottom, and we can see the drop off. So with the demonstration records that we have in the deal module, just in this new CRM that we spun up, we can see that we have a bunch of records that have been through the deal stages, and we can see the drop off. So we started with 16 records that went through the qualification stage. There was a drop off of 7 records. The next stage that we're tracking, which is value proposition. So that's 43.7% drop off. to 9 records, and then down to 6 records, and down to 5, and down to 3. And at each stage, it shows you the number of records that dropped off and the percentage that moved forward. And so we can see our total conversion rate from qualification to closed won. We dropped from 16 to 3 deals, an overall drop rate of 81.2%. So we can tell from this that our win rate is 18.8%. And so this can be really helpful when you're building out your deal stage forecasting. So in the deal module, when you have to put a percentage for each stage that you add into your deal stages of how many deals or what percentage of deals from that stage end up closing. So for forecasting purposes, that percentage is really important. You can actually use this pipeline conversion report to be able to give you those exact numbers, so you're not just guessing on what those conversion percentages are between different stages. So I hope you found this video helpful. Hopefully it will give you a little bit more insight into your pipeline conversion in your business. Thanks.
If you found this video helpful, be sure to like it and leave us a comment. You can also subscribe to our channel and click the bell next to the subscribe button to be notified of new videos. If you want to learn more about Zoho or would like help with anything Zoho related, head on over to our website at zcrmhelp.com to connect with us. Thanks for watching.